Hey everyone, welcome back to English with Ease. I'm Megan, and today I want to share something that completely changed how I approach learning English. You know, we always hear the same advice over and over again. Read more books, watch English movies, listen to podcasts. Yeah, those are helpful. But today, I'm going to show you 5 game-changing strategies that most English learners never discover. These aren't your typical study methods. They're different, they're powerful, and honestly, they're so much more fun than traditional studying. Now, before we dive in, let me tell you why I'm so passionate about this. 3 years ago, I was stuck. I had been teaching English for years, but I kept meeting students who were doing everything right on paper, yet they still struggled with confidence in fluency. They had great grammar. They knew thousands of words. But when it came to real conversations, they froze up. Sound familiar? That's when I realized something crucial. The problem wasn't their knowledge. The problem was how they were practicing. They were studying English like it was a math equation, instead of treating it as the living, breathing language it actually is, with different approaches and testing. So I started experimenting with my students, and what I discovered blew my mind. These 5 strategies I'm about to share with you have helped over 2,000 of my students break through their English barriers. Some went from barely speaking to having confident conversations in just weeks. Others finally landed their dream jobs because they could communicate clearly in meetings. And the best part, you can do all of these at home. They take just minutes a day, and you'll actually enjoy the process. All right, let's jump into strategy number 1. I call this the mirror method, but it's not what you think. Most people think mirror practice means standing in front of a mirror and repeating phrases. That's boring and it doesn't work very well. Instead, I want you to become your own English coach. Here's how it works. Every morning, spend just 3 minutes having a conversation with yourself in the mirror. But here's the twist. You're going to play 2 different people. You're going to be yourself, and you're going to be someone interviewing you. Switch back and forth between these 2 roles. For example, you might start as an interviewer and ask, "So tell me, what are you most excited about today?" Then you switch to being yourself and answer honestly. Maybe you say, "Well, I'm really looking forward to trying that new recipe I found yesterday." Then switch back to the interviewer. "Oh, that sounds interesting. What kind of recipe is it?" Do you see what's happening here? You're not just practicing English. You're practicing real conversation skills. You're learning to ask follow-up questions, to show interest, to keep a conversation flowing naturally. And because you're both people in the conversation, you're training your brain to think quickly in English. Now, you might feel silly at first. Trust me, I get it. When I first tried this method myself, I felt ridiculous. But after just 1 week, I noticed something amazing. When I was in real conversations, I didn't freeze up anymore. I knew how to respond because I had practiced responding to myself. The key is to make it real. Don't just ask boring questions like, "How are you?" Ask questions you genuinely want to explore. What's something you learned recently that surprised you? If you could change one thing about your daily routine, what would it be? Make yourself think. Make yourself feel something. This strategy works because it trains 3 crucial skills at once. First, it improves your listening because you have to pay attention to your own questions. Second, it boosts your speaking fluency because you're practicing natural conversation flow. And third, it builds confidence because you're getting comfortable with your own voice and your own ideas in English. Moving on to strategy number 2, which I call the emotion bridge technique. Now, this one is really special because it connects your feelings directly to your English learning. Here's the thing that most teachers won't tell you. You don't remember words because they're useful. You remember words because they made you feel something. Think about it. What English words do you remember most easily? Probably words connected to experiences that moved you emotionally. Maybe you learned the word heartbroken from a song that made you cry. Or you learned hilarious from a comedy show that made you laugh until your stomach hurt. So here's what we're going to do. Every day, I want you to choose one emotion you're feeling and explore it in English. Not just name it, but really dig into it. Let's say you're feeling frustrated about something at work. Don't just think, I'm frustrated. Instead, talk to yourself about it. You might say, I'm feeling really frustrated right now because my colleague keeps interrupting me in meetings. It makes me feel like my ideas don't matter. I wish I could find a way to speak up more confidently. See how much richer that is? You're not just using one emotion word. You're exploring the whole emotional landscape around that feeling. But here's where it gets really powerful. After you explore the emotion, I want you to flip it. Ask yourself, how would I want to feel instead? Maybe you'd say, I want to feel confident and respected. I want to feel like my voice matters. Now, you're not just practicing English. You're actually processing your emotions and maybe even solving problems in your life. This technique works because emotions are the strongest memory triggers we have. When you connect English words and phrases to real feelings, they stick in your brain like super glue. Plus, you're practicing the kind of emotional vocabulary that makes conversations meaningful, not just grammatically correct. Strategy number 3 is what I call the curiosity spiral, and this one is absolutely magical for building natural conversation skills. Most English learners focus on giving perfect answers, but the secret to great conversations isn't having all the answers. It's asking the right questions. Here's how the curiosity spiral works. Start with any topic, anything at all. Let's say you see a red car outside your window. Instead of just thinking, red car, and moving on, you're going to follow your curiosity wherever it leads you. You might start by wondering, why do people choose red cars? Do red cars cost more to insure? What's the most popular car color in different countries? Each question leads to another question, creating a spiral of curiosity that keeps your mind engaged and your English flowing. But here's the really cool part. You don't have to research the answers. This isn't about becoming an expert on car colors. It's about training your brain to think in English and ask natural follow-up questions. So you might wonder out loud, I wonder if red cars are more expensive. Actually, that makes me think about car insurance. Do insurance companies really charge more for certain colors? Notice what's happening. Your English is flowing naturally because you're genuinely curious. You're not forcing yourself to use fancy vocabulary or complex grammar. You're just following your thoughts, and your English is coming along for the ride. The magic happens when you start doing this in real conversations. Instead of panicking about what to say next, you just get curious about what the other person just told you. They mention they went hiking last weekend. Your brain automatically starts spiraling. Oh, where did you hike? Was it challenging? Do you hike often? What got you into hiking? Suddenly, you're not struggling to make conversation. You're genuinely interested, and the English flows effortlessly. I had a student named Carlos who was terrified of small talk. He would avoid the coffee machine at work because he didn't know what to say to his colleagues. After practicing the curiosity spiral for just 2 weeks, he told me something amazing happened. A coworker mentioned she was learning to bake bread, and instead of just nodding and walking away, Carlos found himself asking, "What kind of bread? Is it difficult? Where did you learn?" Before he knew it, they were having a 15-minute conversation about baking, travel, and family traditions, all because he followed his curiosity. Now, let's move to strategy number 4, and this one might surprise you. I call it the accent adventure technique. Now, before you panic, I'm not asking you to fake a British accent or try to sound like someone you're not. This is about something much more interesting and useful. Here's the thing. English isn't just one language. It's dozens of varieties, each with its own rhythm, melody, and personality. American English sounds different from Australian English, which sounds different from Irish English. And here's what most people don't realize. When you experiment with these different rhythms and melodies, you're actually training your mouth and your ear to be more flexible with English sounds. So here's what I want you to do. Pick one English-speaking country each week and spend a few minutes each day listening to how people from that place speak. Not to copy them exactly, but to notice the musicality of their English. How do Australians make their voices go up at the end of sentences? How do Scottish speakers roll certain sounds? How do Canadians pronounce about differently than Americans? Then, just for fun, try reading a short paragraph in that style. You're not trying to be perfect or authentic. You're just playing with the sounds and rhythms. It's like vocal stretching for your English muscles. This technique does something incredible for your pronunciation and confidence. When you realize that there's no single, correct way to speak English, you stop being so hard on yourself about your own accent. You start to see your accent as just another beautiful variation of English, not as a problem to fix. Plus, this practice makes you a better listener. When you've experimented with different English rhythms, you can understand people from different countries much more easily. You're not thrown off when someone sounds different from what you're used to. Our final strategy, number 5, is what I call the teaching test. This one is powerful because it flips your entire relationship with learning English. Instead of always being the student, you become the teacher, even if you're just teaching yourself or an imaginary student. Here's how it works. At the end of each day, choose one thing you learned or experienced that day and explain it in English as if you're teaching it to someone who knows nothing about it. Maybe you learned how to use a new app on your phone, or you figured out a shortcut to work, or you discovered why your plant was dying. The key is to explain it step by step, using simple, clear English. Pretend you're making a tutorial video or teaching a friend. You might say, "Okay, so today I learned how to make my phone battery last longer." First, you go to Settings. Then, you look for battery settings. The most important thing is to turn off apps that are running in the background because they drain your battery even when you're not using them. This strategy is brilliant because teaching forces you to organize your thoughts clearly in English. You can't just mumble through an explanation when you're teaching someone. You have to be precise, clear, and logical. Plus, you're practicing the most useful kind of English there is. The English of explaining, describing, and sharing knowledge. But there's an even deeper benefit. When you position yourself as someone who has knowledge to share, your confidence skyrockets. You stop seeing yourself as someone who's bad at English and start seeing yourself as someone who knows things and can communicate them effectively. These 5 strategies work together like a symphony. The mirror method builds your conversation confidence. The emotion bridge makes your vocabulary unforgettable. The curiosity spiral teaches you to think naturally in English. The accent adventure trains your ear and mouth, and the teaching test positions you as a confident communicator. Remember, fluency isn't about perfection. It's about connection. It's about being able to share your thoughts, feelings, and ideas with other people. These strategies don't just improve your English. They help you become a more interesting, confident, and connected person who happens to speak excellent English. So there you have it, friends. 5 strategies that can completely transform your English learning journey. The mirror method, the emotion bridge technique, the curiosity spiral, the accent adventure, and the teaching test. Each one is simple. Each one is powerful. And most importantly, each one makes learning English feel natural and enjoyable. I want you to pick just one of these strategies and try it for the next week. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying all 5 at once. Choose the one that excited you most while watching this video and commit to just 5 minutes a day. That's it. Just 5 minutes. And here's what I know will happen. Within days, you'll start noticing changes. Your confidence will grow. Your vocabulary will stick better. And conversations will start flowing more naturally. Because that's what happens when you stop studying English and start living it. Your English journey is unique, and these strategies will help you embrace that uniqueness instead of fighting against it. You're not trying to become someone else. You're becoming the best English-speaking version of yourself. If this video helped you, I'd love to hear about your experience with these techniques. Leave a comment below and let me know which strategy you're going to try first. And if you want more unconventional English learning methods that actually work, make sure you're subscribed because I have so many more game-changing ideas to share with you. Until next time, keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and remember, your English journey is just getting started. I'm Megan. This is English with Ease, and I'll see you in the next video.